Serial killer-obsessed woman who stabbed her on-off boyfriend to death has been jailed for life.
A woman who decorated her house walls with the pictures of serial killers and who stabbed her boyfriend to death has been jailed for life. What is the truth behind this mysterious love story? And what is the reason to design her home with the picture of killers? You can view all the secrets behind this from Turnt Media. Now have a look. On July 17, 2022, Shaye confessed to killing her boyfriend. Police came to check. This video teaches us to be safe and catch bad people.
No, don't close the door. You're under arrest on suspicion of murder. You do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do.
There's this woman, Shaye Groves, a 27-year-old single mom from Lee Park, England. People who know her say she's had a tough life and is a bit different. Lee Park is a nice place in southern England, near Havant. It's famous for its beautiful gardens and parks like Staunton Country Park. Families and nature lovers like to visit. Before 2019, she seemed like a regular happy mom, baking cakes with her daughter. But in 2020, things changed. She started staying up late watching, even collecting mugs with serial killers' faces on them. She also got a lot of tattoos and piercings. She's even into collecting knives and axes. Shaye had some unusual stuff in her home, like a coffin-shaped bookshelf and pictures of famous killers on her wall. But even though she was seen as a bit strange, she was a great mom to her daughter. She showed her love on social media, like when she said she was proud of her daughter for being independent and promised to always be there for her. Shaye was fascinated by true crime, but was also really into exploring unusual sexual preferences. She had a strong crush on a guy named Frankie Fitzgerald, who lived in Portsmouth and had 2 kids. Frankie was described as a kind person. Shaye and Frankie had some problems in their relationship, but they both liked a type of role play involving bondage, domination, and submission. According to court records, Shaye gave Frankie written permission to wake her up through sexual intercourse. From the date of March 22nd until further notice, prosecutors would later argue that Shaye's obsession with Frankie's performance in bed, along with the dangerous dynamic of illicit drug and alcohol use, may have played a role in the horrific events of July 17, 2022. The early hours of Sunday, July 17, 2022, a horrific crime took place in the quiet neighborhood of Botley Drive, Havant. Frankie Fitzgerald was found dead in Shaye's bed. He had been brutally stabbed by Shaye. She did not call 999 for help, instead choosing to video call a friend named Vicky. But instead of sounding panicked, Shaye was laughing as if she was enjoying the situation. Vicky described how Shaye pointed the camera at Frankie's dead body and said, "I'm done with him." But why did she do it? And why was she laughing while looking at his body on video during their video chat? Shaye told Vicky she'd been looking through Frankie's phone and found he had messaged the 13-year-old girl on Facebook. Shaye got really upset and couldn't control herself. She grabbed a small knife she kept under her pillow and stabbed him in his chest 17 times. After telling Vicky she'd clean up and bury Frankie in the backyard, Shaye ended the call by asking if they were still friends. Vicky then called the police. When the police arrived, they smelled a strong bleach scent. Shaye answered the door in her robe, acting like nothing was wrong. But the police told her they had a call about someone being murdered. They arrested her on suspicion of murder, explaining her rights. Shaye gave explanation to the police. "Something really bad happened. He's dead, in my room, and it's a mess. I ended someone's life. The knife I used is in the sink. He has a brutal cut on his neck. I told the police he tried to hurt me, but they arrested Shaye and her friend Lauren for his murder." Lauren was initially charged for not giving her phone's PIN code to investigators, but was later released on bail. Shaye was formally charged with murder and appeared in court on Wednesday the 20th. The magistrate told Shaye to go to Winchester Crown Court the next day. It was a big shock. 2 close friends who were also single moms were being investigated for murder. People in the community were surprised and confused about what happened. It was unclear what evidence the prosecutors had against Shaye. The trial started in January 2023. The prosecutor said Shaye watched murder shows, so she knew how to make it look like someone else did it. Prosecutors showed evidence that Shaye called her friend Vicky after killing Frankie, showing his body. Shaye also sent videos of herself with Frankie's body to others. The court also heard Shaye had a camera in her room and edited videos to make it seem like Frankie hurt her. The prosecutors got the original videos showing Shaye and Frankie were okay with what they were doing. Vicky said Shaye threatened past boyfriends the same way. She collects evidence against people to control them. Vicky also said Shaye has a history of violence. She once hurt a roommate with nail clippers. The police checked Shaye's phone and found she texted another guy while Frankie was dead in her room. She did this to make it look like she wasn't involved, but she got caught. Shaye tried to excuse what she did by saying Frankie messaged a 13-year-old girl, but the girl was actually 17, and Frankie stopped talking to her when she said she was underage. The prosecutor said Shaye planned the murder and tried hard to hide it. She didn't care about anyone but herself. Shaye said she did it to protect herself. She threatened to post videos online saying Frankie hurt her. Shaye said Frankie got angry and choked her. She couldn't breathe, so she hit him with something. She also said Frankie used cocaine and got mean when he was high. Shaye said she decorated her room with unusual stuff from an artist on Etsy. She wanted her room to be different and shocking. Shaye said she was a lover of nature and claimed the Celtic dagger she had was for her ceremonies, not for hurting Frankie. The court found Shaye guilty of murder on February 17, 2023, at Winchester Crown Court. Shaye smiled when she heard the verdict. The 11 jurors, 7 women and 4 men, all agreed that Shaye was guilty. Shaye didn't show any feelings when she was sentenced to life in prison, with at least 23 years before she can be considered for release. Frankie's family said he was a great dad, brother, and son. They'll miss his kindness and fun nature. The news left his friends and family devastated. After the trial, Detective Chief Inspector Rod Kenny spoke to the press. He said Shaye's attack on Frankie was terrible, and the verdict and sentence were fair. He praised Frankie's family for their courage and said they'll keep investigating to bring anyone else involved to justice. Shaye, who admired serial killers like Rose West, ended up in the same prison as West, adding another layer of sadness to her story. She may have realized the irony of her situation as she went to prison. Her fascination with true crime might have played a role in her actions, as the prosecutor suggested. However, it's also possible that Shaye was just a regular person who had a moment of extreme anger when she found out her partner was messaging someone else. Either way, it's a reminder of how dangerous obsession and unhealthy relationships can be. So be careful, friends, and stick with my channel to view such different and horrible stories. Thank you.